Hello friends, my name is Jim Piela. I'm a New York City-based saxophonist, composer, and educator, and I'm here today to talk to you about taking your very first music lesson. One-on-one music lessons are a critical part of learning an instrument, especially if you've never done it before. As great as many of the resources here on YouTube are, or Facebook or Reddit, they're only really going to get you so far. Having a mentor to help you find your strengths and weaknesses is an incredibly important part of the learning process. I see my job as a music teacher as number one, to have fun, and two, to help you define and achieve your personal goals. I hope I can show you what to expect and to make your first music lesson just a little bit less nerve-wracking. And for the parents out there are a ton of added benefits to this sort of private tutoring. Direct exposure to an expert in their field, learning how to learn, time management, and other types of personal skills that will help with any potential future career. Music lessons aren't just for future musicians. Just ask almost every single one of my students who either works in or is planning to work in a field that isn't music. Here are 5 questions I ask in every single one of my first lessons with a new student. These questions are not meant to intimidate or gatekeep. In order to make the progress that we want to make, we need to have an honest conversation about your music. Question number 1. Who are you listening to? If you're not sure, you don't know, I might ask why you chose the saxophone as your instrument. I want to get a better understanding of the type of music that you like and the sort of things that you value. It also helps me find things that we can study together. I want to work on the music that you want to work on. There are a ton of ways to do that with etudes, books, transcriptions, and we can learn the fundamentals of the music through those things. I know some people like to use a question like this to put other people down or to gatekeep or to show off how much they've listened to. I think that's really silly. I think as a lesson teacher, as a musician, as a human being, I want to bring you in to the fold. I want to show you what I love so much about this music and open a dialogue and a conversation with you about what you love about the music. I've had several students come in listening to 80s rock saxophone. That's what they were into. There's a ton of different places that we can go with that. And it starts with a conversation about who you're listening to. Second question, how much are you practicing? I know this is a scary question. Fortunately, there are no wrong answers. Let me explain why. I want to help you achieve your goals on the instrument, and part of that is getting a good understanding of how much time you have to dedicate to personal practice every day. Music is for everyone, even people who are busy or who have other focuses in their life. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. We want to find a routine that works for you. We also want to work on creating daily habits. Saxophone should be practiced every day, even if it's just a little bit every day. And if you're young, especially in high school, we want to find a daily habit that's going to work for you and to start building that out into your daily life. Question number 3, what issues do you want to address? Or if I'm feeling spicy, I might ask, why are we here? This tells me a lot about you as a musician, how you perceive and think about your problems, and what sort of things you value. With the more advanced students, I will always follow this question up with, how have you been working on that? I'm asking my current students this question all the time. And if you're just starting out, we might forego this question until we get into some of the more fundamentals and have a better understanding of the instrument and where you want to go with it. We can't read your minds. And if you can express what you want to practice and you want to work on to us, we can help you achieve those things. The more questions you can ask your lesson teacher, the better your experience is going to be. Question number 4, and this is more of a series of questions. I call this the scale quiz. I'm going to ask you to start playing scales, starting with some very straightforward and easy scales, and get progressively harder until you have no idea what I'm talking about. Scales and diatonic patterns are a really important part of music and music education and being able to get around your instrument and facilitate technique. And I need to know where you're at with that. There's no wrong answers to that. We just need to know where we're starting and where we want to go next. Very often students will come in knowing 4 or 5 scales. If the idea of the scale quiz stresses you out, as I'm sure it would have me when I was younger, just know that it's over fairly quickly and we need to know where you're at so we can expand on that. Final question, can you play a piece of repertoire for me? I want you to show off a little bit. I want to hear what you're up to and play me a piece of music that you know and have mastered. This helps me hone in on some of your musical strengths and weaknesses, some of the things that you value and have mastered, and some of the things that we still need to work on. Armed with this information, we'll come up with a custom syllabus with your weekly and semester goals, complete with technique, repertoire, and listening assignments. This is one of the most special things about taking private lessons, is that It is completely focused on you and your goals. We don't have to do anything besides the stuff that you need to and want to do, which is very exciting. Hopefully this answers some of your questions about taking your very first music lesson. And if you're a music teacher watching this, what did I miss? What question do you have to ask every time you start with a new student? If you enjoy this content, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does help a lot. That's why we ask you to do it. And I hope you enjoy your very first music lesson.